Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together, what we call the boot camp, once a week. And so today we alternate. For those of you who are new here, we alternate. And this week we're back to the abdominal breathing exercise, right? Abdominal breathing exercise exists in basically all branches of spiritual practice, especially in the yogic practice. In the eight limbs of yoga, that's considered pranayama. Yama just means practice, effort, and pana means breathing out, breathing in, right? Pana. And, and by the way, I'll be traveling starting in the middle of next week. So we'll get 3 weeks off, and then I'll be back essentially at the last Saturday of April. Okay, so we get 3 Saturdays off, and then I'm back. Um, and also today there will be no Dharma talk, and we're just going to concentrate on our practice. The purpose of a practice, in a way, it's really about stress. There's enough stress going around these days, whether it's from our political views or just from our everyday effort of staying afloat. And we're dealing with both stress and the effect of stress. And so we're going to start our practice now. And when we do the pranayama, the abdominal breathing exercise on the floor, you're going to notice that we actually use all the joints with the ankle, with the knee, with the hip, with the shoulder, with the elbow, and with the, the what do you call that, wrist. And so we're going to start by doing some joint exercise. But keep in mind that this is not just a exercise to the body, but it's also exercise to the mind. And what I call, when I teach it in prison, is what I call mindfulness in motion. So mindfulness can be practiced not only when you sit, it can be practiced when you stand, it can be practiced when you lie down, when you go to sleep, and it can be practiced when you walk, including exercise. So let's bring a mind back. When I say mindfulness, I call it anchoring. Anchor your mind on your body, anchor your mind on your lower back, and then walk up the spine towards the top of the head. As you do that, stretch the spine towards the ceiling, and then lean back as if get to the point where you feel that you're about to fall off, and then relax. Now, this is important longevity exercise. It takes the stress out of your muscle in the back and putting all your weight on the spine. And then we want to lift up a shoulder all the way up, and then open the shoulder all the way back, lower the shoulder, relax the spine. We're going to start to do some joint exercise, starting with the wrist, then the elbow, then the shoulder. Let's focus on the center of a palm. Let's bring our hands up together with our mind, slowly, gently, steadily, all the way up to the shoulder level. Now I want you to focus on the wrist and rotate your wrist one turn at a time. And each turn has a beginning and an end. And in the beginning of the turn, I want you to get into the practice of asking yourself, where is my mind? And if your mind is somewhere else, I want you to very gently, politely invite your mind back to your wrist. And once your mind is on the wrist at the very beginning, I want you to follow through, going from the beginning to the end. And during that time, I want you to focus on your wrists, examine the change in your wrist, see if there's any heat, sweat, tightness, numbness, itching, maybe any kind of feeling. And then when you get to the end, I want you to rethink and say, okay, that was a great practice, one turn. Now I'm going to start in another turn. I want you to think to yourself, says, the next one is going to be at least as focused as the first one. And this is what we call um, um, uh, mindfulness, and then diligence. Okay, and one turn at a time. So Even though we're doing exercise, we're actually practicing the three important foundation of mindfulness, starting with faith, which includes your own confidence, and then with mindfulness, and then the diligence, one turn at a time. Now I want you to turn the other way. Before you do that, I want to recommit and bring your mind back to the wrist, wherever it is, just bring it back, as if you're whispering to yourself, one turn at a time. Again, each turn has a beginning and an end. At the beginning is when you want to make sure that your mind is actually on your wrist. And then at the end is when you congratulate yourself and says, okay, that was great. Let me do another one. One turn at a time. One turn at a time. Now I want you to lower your hand. Make sure that your spine is at the center of your palm. You bring it back down the same way you brought it up. And then I want you to come back to the body, starting at the lower back, and then walk up the spine, stretch the spine towards the ceiling, lean back, relax, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, relax the shoulder. We're going from the wrist to the elbow. So once again, focus on the center of your palm, bring it up, all the way up to shoulder level. And this time we want you to focus on the elbow, one turn at a time. Once again, there's a beginning and an end. At the beginning, you want to examine, make sure that you anchor your mind on the elbow. And at the end is when you say, okay, let me do another one. Recommit yourself, one turn at a time, one turn at a time. So I talk about how ultimately everything that we do here is related to stress. These days we have plenty to go around. And what stress does is that it puts you in the fight or flight. And when you're in the fight or flight, the body creates all kinds of stress hormone. And now we're going to turn the other way, one turn at a time. And one of the stress hormone is called cortisol. It's a steroid, it's a natural steroid that lets the body heal itself, reduce inflammation while you're being chased by the lion. And now we bring it back down. Once again, stretch the spine, lift up the shoulder, lean back, open the shoulder, and then relax. Okay. And what happened is that the body wants to heal itself. So it releases the stress hormone, release natural steroid to reduce acute inflammation. But what happened is that when you're under stress all the time and you're in the fight or flight, as opposed to cycling back to the rest and digest, your body has too much steroid. And so the body resists steroid, and then now you have no more self-healing power. And when your body inflamed, there's nothing to reduce inflammation. And so prolonged stress gets to cortisol resistance, and then it becomes chronic inflammation, right? And so that's really the source for all of our modern disease. So how do we deal with the stress? Well, at least train your body and your breath to become the early warning, right? So when you're under stress, when you don't feel good about whatever is happening outside, your body says, hey, be careful, right? Don't follow it, accept it, and then just let it go. All right. So that's how we deal with stress, is to understand our emotion. All right. Okay. So now let's come back. We continue. We're going from the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder now. So I want you to sit up straight once again, stretch your spine towards the ceiling, open, lift up the shoulder, lean back, open the shoulder, relax, and focus on the center of your palm. Bring up your hands, cross your hand, follow your hand, bring it in front of you, very slowly, very gently. And then I'll bring it on top of the head. And then I want you to stretch towards the ceiling, stretch. And then I want you to focus on the center of your palm, turn your palm outward, stretch your fingers, and then open the shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder, and then let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm, cross your hand again, bring it in front of you. Very slow, the slower the better, as long as you're anchor on your body. Open those fingers, open the shoulder, turn the wrists upward, 90-degree, palm facing outside, bring it up, stretch your body towards the ceiling, all the way up, Palm outward, spread out your fingers, bring it back down. Feel that pain on your shoulder and let go of the pain. The pain is gone. And if you follow the pain, it becomes suffering. Open the shoulder, feel it, and then let it go. One more time. Follow the center of your palm in front of you, on top of you. Stretch. Open the palm, palm facing outward, and then spread out the fingers. Now we're going to go the other way. Open first, stretch, bring it back down. Open first, stretch, and then bring it back down. Open first, stretch, and then bring it back down. Open first, stretch, and then bring it back down. One last time. Open first, stretch, and then follow your hand, bring it back down. Now we're going to go from front to back, and then I'm going to start talking about those three things that you have to do, right, to not turn pain into suffering. Pain can be your body, it just can be your emotional pain. Whatever it is, learn to feel it, completely feel it, and then learn to accept it, and then learn to let it go, right? It's a practice. All right, stretch your spine, lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, lean back, relax. We're going to go from front to back. Focus on the center of your palm now. Bring your hands together in front of you very slowly. Bring it on top of you. And then open the shoulder as far as you can. Spread out those 10 fingers. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Come back to the center of your palm. Stay focused on the center of your palm. Anchor your mind on the center of the palm. Let that pain go away. Don't follow it. Lift it up. All the way back. All the way back. Feel it. Accept it. And then let it go. All the way up. Spread out your fingers. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Accept that pain. Let it go. Open it. Feel it. Accept it. And then let it go. Let's do one more time. Bring it up. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. All right. So now we're going to go from back to front. Stretch, bring it back down, all the way back. Stretch, and then bring it back down, all the way back. Stretch, and then bring it back down. One more time, all the way back. Stretch, and then follow your hand, bring it back down. Now we're going to go from um, dynamic to static. When we do exercises, mindfulness in motion, we're meditating while we're moving. And now we come back to the more traditional form of meditation, which is sitting. And meditating while you're sitting is the same as meditating while you're standing. It's the same as meditating while you're lying down. When you move, you anchor your mind on your body, any part of the body. Could be your wrist, could be your shoulder, could be your elbow, could be your fingers, could be the toes, anywhere. But when you're in steady state, then you anchor your mind on your breath. And before you anchor, let's at least know that we're breathing. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. And every breath is like every turn on your wrist, every turn on your elbow, every turn on your shoulder. There's always the beginning when you breathe in, and then there's always the end when you breathe out. And when you observe your breathing, it's the same. Before you breathe in, you commit yourself to that one breath from the beginning to the end. And when you finish, you recommit and you ask yourself, that was a good one. Let me try another one breath at a time. Okay, all right. So, so on Thursday night, we returned two dogs to my family, one big German Shepherd and one tiny mix. And and I talk about how the German Shepherd actually It's a good example of how to meditate, right? German Shepherd is very quiet. And he basically bark only once a day, only once a day. And when he bark, it makes such a big noise. And it's when the postman comes. When the postman puts that letter inside the slot, that's crossing the line, right? Everybody else, he says, let it go, right? Whether it's the UPS, the FedEx, the ice cream truck, even. They go by, he listens, he accepts it, and then he let it go, right? Because it's outside. His job is to guard the door to the property. And so meditation is like that. And we talk about the sense doors, the sense door that is physical about us, the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the skin, and the thinking mind. These are sense doors. And our job is to guard it like the big German Shepherd, right? Whatever it is that comes to you, feel it, accept it, and as long as it doesn't enter into your inner center, you let it go, right? So that's how we do it with the pain on the shoulder. We're just using that as a way of practicing, but just keep that in mind that when you're done with this class, you return to your everyday life. There are a lot of unpleasantness these days, right? There are a lot of unpleasantness these days. And you just have to say to yourself, I feel it, I accept it, I am going to let it go. All right? It's very difficult. It's very difficult, but that's what the practice is. Okay, so let's do it one more time. And so once again, stretch a spine, lift up a shoulder, lean back, relax. And this time we're going to do this Shaolin exercise called the double blade. The left hand is one blade, the right hand is another blade. We're going to separate the left brain from the right brain, which means that we're keeping the left hand stationary. We focus on the right hand using a left brain. We're going to follow the center palm. We're going to make a nice big circle in front. And then we're going to open the shoulder. Really feel that pain. Accept that pain. Let go of the pain. Let go of the pain means that I'm going to anchor my mind on the left hand. If you don't anchor your mind, you haven't let it go. Okay? Your mind's going to follow that unpleasantness. Just focus your mind on the left hand. Let's bring it in front of you. Open the shoulder, bring it as far back as you can. Feel the pain, accept that pain, let go of the pain. Sit up straight, right hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Sit up straight, left hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Sit up straight, on that side. Feel it, accept it, let it go. Sit up straight, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Two more times. Sit up straight, right hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Left hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Now back to this sitting position, which means that we're now anchoring our mind on a breath, starting with knowing. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. One breath at a time. Okay. All right. So we're going to do two more exercises. There's two more exercises preparing us for a sitting meditation. And when you sit, it's very important that you relax, right? And so, how do you relax now? Well, you relax by returning the body into the fight or flight, which means that you need to activate the vagus nerve, right? The vagus nerve actually starts at the top of the head, all the way down to the behind the ear, down the neck, into the back, all the way in, and then return into your internals, connecting it with the diaphragm. It's the complete system. All right. So before we do that, we need to kind of shift things up and get our body in the fight flight. And we do this second exercise called throwing the fist. So once again, stretch, lift up, open the shoulder, lean back, and relax. Now, this is actually a very important exercise to kind of stretch your spine, open your shoulder. So when you're under a lot of stress in the middle of the meeting or at the end of the meeting or dealing with your children's or whatever, it's whatever it is very stressful. Two things. One is that you lean back, you stretch your spine, and you lean back and you relax. At least take the low of your muscle. The muscle generate what we call fire, right? It creates anxiety. So at least take the low off the back, and then open the shoulder, relax, energize that vagus nerve in a simple way, and just kind of chill a little bit. And if you want, if you require, and now it's time to kind of observe your breathing. And when you're under a lot of stress, your mind is racing and reflects into in your breath. So you can actually see your breath is very rushed. And now what you want to do is just say, whispering to yourself, I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. And slowly, slowly, slowly settle down the breath. And your mind is settled, right? So that's the kind of thing that you can do. All right. So this exercise is called throwing the fist. So after you sit properly, you want to bring out your right hand. You want to focus on the center of your palm. You like to make a soft fist. Now you need to follow that fist. All right. Get ready. Go now. Don't be such a hurry. Feel the vibration coming back to your shoulder. And then now the left. Up. Feel it. Come back. Down. Sit up straight. Down. Up. Up. Down. Down. One more time. Up. Up. Follow the fist. Down. Down. Now open the shoulder. Follow both hands. Get ready. One. Come back. Two. Come back. Three. Come back. Four. And five. All right. Now come back to the breathing. Get into this habit that once you get excited, whether you're exercising or that you're in a stress environment, come back to your breath. Make that your habit. Examine your breathing. If the breathing is very rough, huffing and puffing, then you know that you're in a stressful situation. Then just whisper to yourself, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. And your breath settle, which means in your mind is settle, which means that you're now in rest and digest, right? The other thing you watch for is the inside your mouth, right? So in the West, right, we talk a lot about hydration, which is a good thing. You need water, but we tend to overdo things. So I see people carry like big jars of water, and I thought, well, are you putting out a fire? Well, in a way, they are putting out a fire because their mouth is so dry from being so stressful, and so an indication that you're not in good health is when your mouth is very dry. And so you always need to come back, focus on your body, focus on your mind. I mean, focus your mind on your body, focus your mind on your breath. And one of the things that you notice that when you do that, then you turn the saliva gland back on because you're in rest and digest, right? So you notice that now for the last 45 minutes, I haven't stopped talking, right? I haven't stopped talking. I haven't stopped moving. But yet my mouth is very wet because when I say that anchor your mind on your body, anchor your mind on your breath, I'm the first one to do it. And so I'm creating the harmony between this what's called the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, the fight or flight and the rest and digest. Both are important, right? One is for your survival. When you're being run over by a bus, you want to be in fight or flight. As soon as you do that, you come back and restore that healing power. All right. All right. So now the next exercise truly put us in the rest and digest by activating the vagus nerve. So let's come back to our body. Let's stretch your spine. Let's see if someone. I just had a haircut, so not much hair now. But imagine someone grabs your hair on the top and just pull you towards the ceiling, and then lean back. Relax. Lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, and then relax. Now that the shoulder is open, I want you to take the thumb, put it in front, roll up the four fingers, completely relax, completely relax. Now, this exercise divided into four parts. The first part is to lift up your elbow, which means that you're lifting up your shoulder, You're lifting up your upper torso towards the ceiling. The second part is when you point the elbow back, opening the shoulder all the way back as if you're squeezing a tennis ball in the back. The third one is when you lower your elbow, your computer reacts. And then the last one is when you point the elbow forward and you're actually looking at the floor, bending your neck, your back, and from here we lift up. You turn your eye to the camera. You continue to open. Now the eyes looking at the ceiling, 45-degree, all the way back. And then you lower your elbow so you look in the camera again. And then you're pointing your elbow so you're looking down. Now, it's best that you close your eyes so you're not even looking at me. And so as you come up, you breathe in. Now, when you breathe in, it's very important that you breathe very slowly so that you continue to breathe until you get to the very end when you open your shoulder. And then when you come down, you breathe out. You close your mouth. You just use your nose very gently. Breathe out until all the way down. Okay? You ready? Go. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. 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 In. Out. One, two more times. In. Out. One last time. In. And out. All right. We're ready to sit. And we don't only sit to meditate, we actually also learn to um, uh, do abdominal breathing, right? Now, very often when you taught to, to meditate, you're taught to pay attention to your breath, and very often they point to the nostril, right? And when I first learned about breathing, it was always about the nostril, it was always about the hair, right, in this area. And after a while, I can actually feel the hair moving as I breathe in. But the problem with that is that it's so close to your thinking mind that it's very hard to let go of the thinking mind. And this actually can be very dangerous. And when I talk about the sense doors, the six senses, the first five are the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, and the body. And what you find is that if you don't include the thinking mind into your sense door, and you think that sitting down is just about resting and rolling back all your sensations, then your thinking mind actually gets very, very active, and it's very dangerous when that happens. And so from the very beginning, you have to know that when you sit, you're not only paying attention to your eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, and the body, but most important is your thinking mind. So you got to give something to your thinking mind to do, which is to focus on your breath. But if you focus on the nostril, it's too close to the thinking mind. You're actually activating the thinking mind when you do that. So what we do here is that we focus on the belly, right? Now the belly, the blacksmith, the belly is like the bellow, right? He's pushing and pulling the bellow, creating airflow, and we don't breathe with a nostril. We actually breathe with our diaphragm. We don't even breathe with a lung. The lung has no muscle. It's always the diaphragm moving up and down. And so, um, what we're trying to do now is to focus on that. Before we do that, let's just come back our sitting position. We're going to give a little bit more refinement, which is to divide our body into 7 support points. This is called the 7 support point sitting posture of the what we call the Vajrachara. Vajrachara is the name of Buddha, and but anyway, and the 7 support parts are your legs. Now, you can sit like I do, or you can just sit in the chair. There's no reason that sitting in that kind of position would help you with meditation. It's more important that you sit comfortably. So I actually encourage everyone to just sit on the chair. But it's important that you find a chair of the right height. So if it's too high, your feet are dangling, or you're touching the floor with your toes. So you want to find a chair with just the right height so your feet are firmly on the ground, but it's not too low, right? If it's too low, then the feet are not below the knee. It's either feet in front of behind. So just find the right chair, and then after you find the right chair, most likely it has a back. So you need to learn not to lean on the back. But then you say, well, I don't know how my back hurts. Then you put a little pillow right here just to support it, but you don't lean back, right? So because you want to learn to sit properly with your back. So in any case, the first are the legs. So if you sit on the chair, make sure there's right height. If you sit like I do, make sure you put some pillows and blankets if you have to, or you just sit flat like this so you don't use any muscle. Then you just relax your hands. There's no need for hand gesture right now. Just relax your hands. Put it on your knee, put it on your thigh, put it on your calf, put it somewhere. Just leave it relaxed. Don't use muscle. All right, so the third one is the most important, which is the spine. So start at the lower part of the spine, walk up the spine, stretch the spine toward. Now, there's one more refinement that doesn't exist in the yogic practice, but it does exist in the Taoist practice, which is that after you stretch your spine, you lean forward. And then before you lean back, you pay attention to your lower back where the kidneys are. And you hold your hip in place and you lean back up the torso and you feel the stress at the lower back. And you maintain the stress by rotating the hip forward and lean back up the torso. Now, it's optional. You don't have to do that. But if you have a patient to sit for any long period of time, like sometimes you go to meditation class, they sit for 45 minutes, an hour. And what you find is that this really helps, all right? But it's optional. But in any case, you lean back until you think that you could fall off. But you can see from my side profile that I'm actually straight right now, okay? It's just that, our DNA tells us that we should do this because we used to walk on all four. And so you want to lean back, lean back, lean back. And then that way, the weight of the upper torso is on your spine. And then you just relax. Then you lift up your shoulder, you open your shoulder, and make sure that you relax and relax one more time. Now, the only thing that is using your muscle now is your head and is using the neck muscle. So you lean back to the forehead until the ears on top of the shoulder. And then you tuck in your chin slightly so the top of the head is on top of the spine. And we call this one pillar supporting the sky. This is important because by doing that, you're the center of the universe. The universe is unbound, okay? And which means that anybody can be the center of the universe. And you want to sit like this. So you're now the conduit between the heaven and earth. The next thing you want to do is you want to close your eyelid and like you lower the window shade. You lower your window shade, but you don't shut it. You just relax your eyelid. You can see a little bit of light coming through your eyelashes. You can kind of see the floor, kind of see your knee, your hand, but don't focus on it. Just relax. And then one last thing is that you want to close your mouth, and then you want to take the tip of the tongue and put it behind here, between the bottom of your nose and upper part of your lip, which happens to be where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. Now, this does 3 things. One is that it turns on your saliva gland, put you in the rest and digest. Second thing is that now that your saliva gland is turned on, you want to make sure that the saliva fall into your stomach and not into your lung. All right, so you don't choke on your saliva. And third thing is that it creates a connected path between what's above your nose, which we'll call the guardian vessel, and then what's below. And what's above is yang, and what's below is yin. After you do all that, we're going to start with a basic exercise, which is to learn to breathe with your diaphragm. Well, actually, you always breathe your diaphragm, but learn to use it more efficiently. And the way we do that is that we first feel our breath, know that we are breathing. Always start with knowing. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. I can feel the change in my body when I breathe in. I can feel the change in my body when I breathe out. Well, that you know that you're breathing, congratulations. And we're ready to move on to anchoring. So now I want you to anchor your mind on the belly button. And when you know that you're breathing in, I want you to relax as if you're bringing the belly button all the way in front across the room. And that way, what it does is that it lowers the diaphragm, increase your lung capacity so you can breathe in more oxygen. What it also does is that it turns on the fight or flight. And then when you breathe out, I want you to focus on the belly button, anchor your mind on the belly button. And this time I want you to bring the belly button back, pushing up the diaphragm, collapsing the stomach. And what that does is that it empties out the bottom portion of your lung, removing all the stale air that is removing all the moisture, right? So when you have moisture trapped in your lung, it actually kills the lung cell. It's irreversible, okay? So it's very important that if you want to live a long health span, not just lifespan, it's important that you learn to breathe in efficiently and breathe out efficiently. And when you breathe out, you pull in your belly button, you lift up your diaphragm, you're now entering into the rest and digest. All right. So breathe in, move the belly button forward, breathe out, bring the belly button back. And feel that when you move forward, your stomach expands because the diaphragm is pushing down. And when you bring it back, the stomach collapses because you're pushing the diaphragm up. All right. So let's just do that practice, simple practice for 3 minutes. And if your mind drift away, just invite it back, right? Always invite the mind back to your stomach, back to your belly button, one breath at a time. So this is the first step. Now we're on to the second step. The second step, we want to cycle up the spine. All right, so we do that. And so let's come back to the breath and let go of the belly button now. And now, because you're starting to pay attention to your stomach, you actually know that when you breathe in, your stomach moves slightly, expanding the stomach, diaphragm being pulled down. And you notice that when you breathe out, the stomach actually collapses a little bit on its own, right? It's natural. If you don't believe me, next time when you see a baby, that's how they breathe. The stomach actually moves when they lie in the bed, and because that's how they were conditioned when they're inside the womb. They need that stomach motion, they need that diaphragm motion in order to bring in the nutrient. All right. All right. So now we want to let go of the belly button. Just pay attention to your breath. And this time we want to anchor our mind on the very lower part of our spine. And as soon as you know that you're breathing in, I want you to start at the bottom of the spine and just move up the spine. As you move up the spine, I want you to stretch your spine towards the ceiling until you get to the top of the head. And then when you breathe out, I want you to come from the top of the head down the front to the forehead, to the bridge of your nose, to the tongue, and then all the way down to the belly button. But this time, I want you to lean back and relax. So when you breathe in, stretch towards the ceiling, and then when you breathe out, lean back and relax. When you breathe in, start at the very bottom of your spine, goes all the way to the top of the head. And when you breathe out, come back down to the front, all the way back to the belly button. Lean back and relax. All right, so let's do another 3 minutes. Basic exercise, cycling the chi up the spine to the top of the head, and then bring it back down, lean back and relax. Up, stretch, down, lean back and relax. Now, if you 3 minutes might not be enough, but also if you only do it one time as a week, it's not enough. But if you want to do this as a regular practice, after a while, after you really focus on this technique, you feel that there is like some energy that's rising on your spine as you stretch your spine towards the ceiling. And then it's as if that energy is a roller coaster. When it gets to the top of the head, it just comes back down naturally and then arise again, right? It's a very interesting feeling. And that's when we enter the third part, which we call the wandering dragon chasing the pearl. This energy that rises in your spine is like the pearl. The dragon is your mind. Now your job is to follow that energy, not to lead that energy. Don't stand in front of the pearl. The dragon always like to stand behind the pearl and just follow that pearl up the top of the head. But when you get to the top of the head, don't stop there. Don't use your thinking mind and just completely relax as if there's a cloud on top of your head and the dragon enters into the cloud. The cloud is the ancestor home of the dragon and just relax. Wait until your body breathes out, then the dragon comes out. Our curiosity chasing the pearl, you come down, you lean back, you relax until the pearl gets into your belly button. And now your lower abdomen, what we call Dan 10. 10 is feel, Dan is fire. It's like the dragon enters into the dragon's cave. And once again, you relax. And if you can, push the hip forward, lean back so you feel the pressure on the lower back, the kidney area. And then when you breathe in, the pearl rise, you follow, you enter into the cloud, and you even look back in this body as if you're out of the body, and then you come back down. All right, let's try that for 3 minutes. This is the 1,000-year-old um, longevity practice of the Taoists. It's called this microcosmic orbit. There's a lot of information on that on the web, so you just look it up. Microcosmic orbit. Here we do it slightly different because we're, after all, Buddhists, not Taoists. And so it's always important to not use your thinking mind. And that's why we call it wandering dragon chasing the pearl. The key word is in wandering. Let it be free. Okay, open your eyes. So there's increasing understanding of um, the root source of a modern disease, whether it's high blood pressure, cholesterol, um, um, or heart disease, all that. It's just body is inflamed. The body is inflamed, and when the body is inflamed, then first thing is that you have too much cholesterol because the cholesterol is there to fix the inflamed vessel. And so, but in any case, and there's increasing understanding that the body's inflamed because the body loses sensitivity to its own healing chemical, which is the steroid, which is the cortisol. And so all that has come back to what's called the autonomous nerve disorder, that yin yang harmony is lost. And so this exercise, this longevity exercise, that's what we do, is that we energize when we breathe in, lift the body up, and then we restore when we come back, cycling between the two. And turns out that that's longevity. All right. So this is something you need to practice on your own, right? So I mentioned last week that at the very minimum, when you get out of the class, 15 minutes a day, right? Or 14 minutes, 7 minutes of standing. Don't just sit down. Do some standing first or some exercise first, whatever exercise you want to do, right? And then you sit for 7 minutes. All right. So that's your practice. All right. So we talk about autonomous nerve disorder, yin and yang. And so Chinese tradition, they talk about yin deficiency and yang deficiency. Yang is under the sun when you're outside a cave. You're under stress, you're in fight or flight. Yin is the absence of the sun when you're inside a cave where you're supposed to restore the harmony. And so there's something called yang deficiency and yin deficiency. Yin deficiency means that things you're supposed to do outside the sun, you cannot do. Things like sleep, don't sleep well. Wake up in the middle of the night, can't sleep because you have too much cortisol. Right? That's what happens. You have too much cortisol. There's a reason why there's a snooze button in your alarm. The snooze button is when you sleep well. There's very little cortisol in your body. The body means which means that the body can now put out melatonin that puts you to sleep. But when you wake up, the alarm wakes up. Give it some time. Don't just get up. Give it some time. Don't go back to sleep. Open your eyes. Now is the time to work with the iPhone. Let the blue light gets into your eye, energize your body, raise your cortisol level, and then the melatonin goes away, and now you're wide awake. All right. That's why those of us who has a diabetic condition, we have something called the morning rise. When you get up, your glucose actually goes up, even though you've been fasting all night. It's kind of because your cortisol is going up. Your cortisol goes up, the liver gets a signal and starts to put out glucose. It's natural, right? Now, the other hand is you have something called the yang deficiency, things that you're supposed to do under the sun, you don't do well. You have constipation, you have indigestions. Those are the things that require yang energy, and you don't have it. That's why you cannot do that. And so, three things that you look for: insomnia, constipation, and indigestion. Those are the three things that you look for. Any one of those tells you that you're not in good health. Some people have all three. The other one you do is make sure that you are in good health. Make sure you have plenty of saliva, which means that you know how to restore yourself, and make sure that your bottom of your feet are not cold, which means that you have good circulations, right? And so this exercise that we just did, this wandering dragon chasing the pearl, after a while you feel like your mouth is full of saliva. You feel that your body is really warm, and you feel that your head is really cool. And not only that, time seems to pass just like that. You can sit for an hour like that. Easy. All right. So talking about yang deficiency, let's work on some exercise to improve our yang, improve our energetic chi. All right. So we're going to do some stretching now, and then before we get down to the floor and continue with the joint exercise and also the breathing exercise. All right. So We're gonna do 3 deep breath, and deep breath means that we're really gonna use the diaphragm now. The diaphragm is a very interesting material. It's what we call viscoelastic, meaning that the resistance is dependent on the speed. So the material that are viscoelastic is like your rubber eraser, and so or even metal. Aluminum has that. So if you take a piece of aluminum bar, you try to bend it, it doesn't work. Right? But if you bend it really fast, then it breaks because it depends on the velocity. So the key to deep breath is to relax and do it slowly. If you try to do it fast, then the diaphragm will resist. All right. So let's sit back, stretch, lift up a shoulder, lean back, and then relax. All right. Very important to relax. And then now we take our hands, lock our fingers, put that in the belly button. And we're going to follow the center of the palm from the belly button up to here when we breathe in. All right. Get ready. And we're going to lift up our upper torso when we do that too. Get ready. Very gently. Breathe in. Now we're going to turn our hand, follow the center of the palm, and breathe out. We're going to stretch, lock the elbow. We're going to undo our fingers. We're going to spread out all 10 fingers, rotate our wrist so that the wrist is 90 degrees, and we're going to open the shoulder as if we're climbing, using our shoulder to climb. Back to locking our fingers again, completely relax. Breathe in, breathe out. Lock the elbow, looking straight ahead. Climb the mountain. One last time. Relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Looking straight ahead. Climb a mountain. And then back to locking your fingers. Palm facing up. Palm facing down. Bring down your palm. Lock your elbow. Looking straight ahead. Bring up your hand, pointing the camera. The center palm pointing the camera. Now bring it up so that the center of the palm is pointing the sky. Lean back slightly, forming a straight line between the lower part of your spine, the top of your head, and the center of your palm. And we push, stretching the spine. And then we lean back, hold it, come back to the middle, and we push, we stretch the spine. It's very important to stretch the spine. This is a very important longevity exercise. I'll explain that in a minute. And then we lean towards the left, we come back, we push again, stretch the spine, we lean to the right, we come back, and we stretch, and then lean to the left, come back, stretch, lean to the right, and then come back. Focus on the center of your palm, bring it back down, completely relax. And now we're going to open it, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, and relax. Okay. Now the spine is where the marrow manufactures red blood cell. And so as we get older, the spine oxidizes. So the volume where you can create marrow is decreased, which explains why as we get old, we don't have as much strength as the younger people and we get sick easily, right? That makes sense. And so to reverse oxidation, you need to stretch because again, the bones are piezoelectric. And so it actually generates some electricity when you do that, right? So those of you who practice yoga, I believe there's a posture called downward dog, right? Guess what? The dog does that. The dog does that, right? So I mentioned that I have a puppy at home for 9 weeks now and left on Thursday. And that guy is 14 years old. He looks like a puppy. And one of the things I noticed is that he stretch all the time. He always stretch. That's longevity, right? Okay, so stretching the spine is very important. We'll continue to do that, right? All right, now back to the posture. Sit up straight, lift up the shoulder, lean back, relax. Now we take a right palm, we put that on the left shoulder, and we're looking straight ahead, so we're putting pressure on the right shoulder. We take our left hand, we grab our right shoulder, we sit up straight, and we stretch. Now we're stretching the spine sideways, and then now the other way. Sit up straight, looking straight ahead. Grab left elbow. Sit up straight, and then stretch your spine onto the right. All right. So now come back. Focus on our breath. Every time we do an energetic exercise, we want to come back to our breath. We want to pay attention to our breathing. And now that we're just huffing and puffing, right? Because our mind is racing too. So let's focus on our breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Restore the sensitivity to the cortisol, right? That's how we stay healthy. Bring back that self-healing power. All right. Okay. Back to the posture. Sit up straight. Open the shoulder. Lean back. This time we lift up our left palm, palm facing up, fingers forward. We bring our right hand. We put that between the fingers and the palm. We sit up straight. We bring down the hand gently. We focus on the elbow. We lock our elbow. It's very important that we lock the elbow, energizing all these energy points. We sit up straight, looking straight ahead. We bring up the elbow, palm facing forward. And then we sit up straight without turning the upper torso. We bring the right arm all the way around. Now we're going to add one more thing, which is that we take our left arm and touch the back. All right. Touch the back as far back as you can. And then we take our right arm and we put that on the elbow like this. And then we're going to take a deep breath as we raise the left hand. Get ready? Breathe in. Breathe out. Second time, breathe in. Breathe out. One last time, breathe in. Breathe out. And relax. Now to the right, sit up straight. Bring down the right hand. Lock the elbow, sit up straight, looking straight ahead. Bring up your hand, locking the elbow. Without turning the body, bring the right hand to the right, left, all the way to the right. And then relax. Taking the right arm, wrap it around. Taking the left arm, put that under, lock it on your elbow. And then get ready. Turn your head to the right. Get ready. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And relax back to the breathing. One breath at a time. And then back to the sitting position. Lift up our shoulder. Relax. Now to the right hand. Palm facing up. Fingers pointing back. Left hand. Palm facing down. Fingers pointing forward. Open the shoulder. Focus on the right palm as if the sky has fallen onto the right palm. We're going to push up the sky. Wrist at 90 degrees until we lock our elbow. And then same thing on the other side. On the left, we push down to earth, lock the elbow. We take a right hand, we bring it back. Then we take our head, turn it to the left until we get to the shoulder. And we keep turning the eyes as if we're looking at the back. We bring back the eyes, bring back the head, and then we relax. Then the other way. Open the shoulder, push, lock. Now right hand, push and lock. Bring back the left hand, turn the head to the right, turn your eyes to the back, bring back everything, and then relax. Right? So it stretches these important meridians. All has to do with yang energy. Now we're going to stretch your spine. Sit up straight, open the shoulder, relax. Hands together, fingers together, palm facing up, palm facing down. Bring down your palm, lock your elbow. Now, at the same time, focus on top of your head and the center of your palm. Okay? Push your head upward, push your palm down, one up, one down. Oh, and then relax. Now, focus on the center of your palm and lean back your forehead so you're looking at the ceiling, 45 degrees. And then you just kind of bring that up, all the way up, and then relax. Focus on your breathing, one breath at a time. Okay, so now we're going to add one more thing, which is really twisting the spine. So we're going to take our right arm, we're going to just sit on that, all right? And then we're going to turn our body to the left, twisting the spine. Okay, back. Now we're going to take our left arm, we sit on that on the right side. And then we're going to turn the body to the right, twisting our spine. and then come back. All right. All right. So much for the spine. Now to the shoulder. Sit up straight. Take your right arm, put that on your back. Okay. Looking straight ahead. And then lift up your right shoulder. And then relax. Take the other hand. Sit up straight. Lift up the left shoulder. And then relax. Back to the breathing. All right. So now take the right arm, put that on your lower back. Two fingers pointing to the left shoulder. Bring down your right shoulder and your fingers up. And then back. The other side. Bring down your left shoulder, then your fingers up. Now, two hands, fingers touching. Looking straight ahead, don't lower your head. Don't look down, look straight ahead. Two shoulders, right shoulder up, left shoulder down, and then relax. The other side. Sit up straight, left shoulder up, right shoulder down, and then relax. Back to the breathing. Lots of energetic energy. So we want to restore by focusing on the breath, slow down the breathing, slow down the mind, enter into rest and digest, restore that harmony. One last exercise, we call this the reverse Buddha. Stretch your spine, open your shoulder, lean back, relax, palm touching, fingers pointing down. Now rotate so fingers are pointing up, bring it up. Sit up straight, looking straight ahead, palm touching. Okay, now push the palm forward. At the same time, open that shoulder. One open, one foot, one forward, one backward. Maintain that pressure. Focus on your breath. And then relax. Back to the breathing. Okay, all right. So we are now ready to do our floor exercise. We don't have much time left. So we're going to quickly continue with the joint exercise. 6 joints above, 6 joints below, right? Wrist, elbow, shoulder, and ankle, knee, and hip. All right. So first, the knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now to the heel. First, the right heel. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now to the left heel. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now to the toes. Now, this next series of exercises is very important to prevent dementia. Dementia, the most important of dementia is not the loss of memory, it's the loss of balance. Okay, so today we're doing a lot of balance exercise. Next week, the week before, we do a lot of finger exercise. Both are important to prevent dementia. So we're going to stand firmly on the ground, focus on top of the head, anchor your mind on top of the head, and very gently stand on your toes, lift up your heel, looking straight ahead. Don't look down, don't look down. Okay, and then when you come down, impact the heel slightly. Second time, down. One last time, down. Now the next one is even more challenging. We stand on one foot, first the left foot. Now, I'm not going to talk. When I talk, I lose my balance. But in any case, you stand on it first, then you kick the right foot. Okay, all this time looking straight ahead and focus on top of the head. Get ready? First, balance. Okay, if I talk, I lose balance. You can't do two things at once. There's no such thing as multitasking. You ready? Okay, these are very important exercises to maintain neurological health. Finally, we go to the hip. Hip is important to prevent falling. As we age, the last thing you want to do is fall. People don't recover from fall well because once you fall, you're immobile. When you're immobile, everything happens in your body, not for the better. And so we want to learn to turn, loosen our hip. First, the left hip. We stand on the right, we sit up straight, we lean back slightly, we put our hands in front, we focus on the hand, we bring the hand back as if we're standing now. Notice that the toes are up, right? And we're standing on the left foot. We form a straight line between the heel, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder. And we turn on that axis. You turn until you cannot turn anymore, and you keep turning. And then you move forward, and then you relax. Second time, turn. Can't turn anymore, keep turning, and then forward. One last time, turn, forward, and then relax. Now to the right, we're going to work on the right hip now. Bring it to the right, forming a straight line, turn, keep turning, and then forward. You got to get to the point where at the end, try to overcome that resistance. And then forward. One last time. Turn and forward. All right. Okay, you ready? All right. Now, I want to talk about this next exercise that we do that is called pranayama. The focus is on the breath, not on the body. Even though it looks like we're doing exercise with the body, the point of the body is to position your body such that you can do a very deep breath. Okay, so let me show you. First, you follow the palm of the hand, you bring it up, you bring it towards yourself, you lower your hand, you lower your knee, and then you stand back up. Now, as you raise your hand, close your mouth, you breathe in, but you don't stop anywhere. And you keep breathing in until your hands stop, and then your breath will stop. Okay? So stop after you finish with your hand motion. Get ready? Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. So I notice that many people think that this is just a body exercise, so they focus on the body and they don't do the breathing part seriously. This is all about the breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, now change form, breathe in now. Okay, now when you breathe out, you move, continue, and then your hand stop and you still breathe out. Okay, because when you open your lung cavity and you still breathe out, that's when you force your diaphragm to move up, right? But if you stop here, you're not doing anything. Okay, all right, now pay attention. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, if you have to choose, you choose on the breathing out part and let the breathe in be natural. If you choose to focus on the breathe in, you might get hyperventilate. Okay, now let's try it. Just very gently breathe in, and then focus on the breathe out. Breathe out, empty your lung. And then when you breathe in, it's very natural, very relaxing. Breathe out. Okay, all right. So now this is a meditation too. This is mindfulness in motion, right? So you need to focus on the center of your palm, right? But when you're not moving, you need to focus on your breath. So now we're going to do 1 minute of standing meditation. Now, 1 minute is not going to make that much difference, but if you want to stand for 7 minutes, you want to do that without locking your knee, because what you really want to do is activate the calf, right? So let's try that. Don't lock your knee for 1 minute. The calf is your second heart. The health of your calf is tied to your reducing your chance of having dementia. Okay, get ready. 1 minute. Focus on my breath. One breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay. Now, the second form is called balloon breathing. So, right foot forward, lean back, looking at the ceiling, 45-degree. Right toes is up. You bring up your hand, you follow the center of your palm, and you just kind of roll forward. You don't hunch forward, you just roll forward and brace yourself. The left foot, the heel is up, and you try to keep your body straight because you don't want to, you know, um, close in on your lung cavity, right? And then you breathe out, looking at the ceiling. Now, as you go forward, just breathe in very gently. And then when you open, you breathe out, empty your stomach as much as you can. And even when your hands stop, you try to continue to breathe out in the very last moment. And then what you find is that the breathe in is very relaxing. Breathe out, close your mouth, breathe in. And once again, you need to relax because otherwise you're fighting with your diaphragm, right? Remember that? Breathe in, breathe out. See, the breathing out part has to be relaxed, right? Relax, then your diaphragm will give up, will give way. Breathe out, breathe in, and then breathe out. Now lower your hand back to that 1 minute. This exercise is tremendous for your health, right? It has a lot of benefits. I just looked it up yesterday. My very first video was 9 years ago, May of 2016. So I've been practicing all these exercises for 9 years now, from when I was 60 years old. And I actually feel that I'm reverse aging. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. One last time, breathe in, breathe out, and lower your hand. So Martha said last time that she actually do it half of the rate. So every two, she would do one. She slows it down and really focus, and she actually feels the benefit. The entire body is warm, and she didn't say, but I suspect that she has plenty of saliva. She was actually restored to harmony. Okay. Now the next one is called butterfly. This one really shows how the technique. And you notice that when we collapse the lung, we breathe in, forcing the diaphragm to go down. And when we expand, we breathe out, right? Breathe out meaning that we lift up the diaphragm. But not only that, it has that balance part that is important for the brain, right? and it also activates the kidney meridians as well as the activates all the meridians actually, but mainly the kidney and what we call the second heart right here. Okay. All right. So lift up your arm, follow your arm, bring it down, lower your knees straight down. Okay. And then bring it back up and slowly stand on your toes by focusing on top of your head so you don't fall until the back of the hand are touching. Now, as you come down, just breathe in very, very gently. And then when you breathe out, empty your stomach. Breathe all the way until the hand stops. And then breathe in naturally. Breathe out. Empty your stomach. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. One more time. In. Out. Focus on the center of your palm. Bring it down. And then 1 minute of standing meditation. Loosening up your knee if you can. So a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that if I'm going to give Dharma talk again, it won't be talking about the current event, but it will be perhaps on the Heart Sutra. And someone's quickly and says, "Yeah, that would be great. I want to know why the five skandhas are empty." Well, first of all, what are the skandhas? Skandhas are like the funnel. It's just the existence of your existence. Five different stages. First one's called form. The form consists of physics, the light, the sound, the taste, the body, and the physiology, what I call the sensual, the eye, the nose, the tongue. That's form. The second one's called sensation, which is going from the physics to the physiology to the neurology. When you see light, it generates nerve signal. It all concentrate on the spine. And then the next one of that, going from the sensation to, depending on the translation, is called feeling. The signal get collected. It goes from the spine to the thinking brain, and now you generate like or dislike, and that's called the volition. We used to actually have these 51 mental factors. Some of them liked, some of them you don't like. And then finally, it's called a consciousness, where you actually leave behind a copy, which then becomes the seed for the next thought. And so the Buddhist practice is all about cleaning yourself so that you don't leave behind non-wholesome seeds. So you kind of elevate yourself like that. And why is it empty? It's not empty like emptiness. It's empty like empty of it's empty in nature, which means you can change it. You can change it, right? I don't like something, I don't look at it. I don't like what's going on in the politics, I just don't look at it. That's empty, right? But more importantly is that sometimes I can't help it, right? The physics comes into my physiology and it generates neurology. Well, at least I don't think it. I just feel it. I accept it. And then I let it go. That's empty too. So this next one is really all about that, is how to sense it without really using your thinking mind. So we lift up our hand as we're following the water wheel all the way to the top, all the way down. And then we're looking at that center of the water wheel and we push. You bring it up, you breathe in, and then you kind of sit on your left foot, and then you push, you breathe out. All this time you focus on the feeling, on the sensation, but without thinking it. And that's why it was brilliant in that movie Karate Kid, where it says, wax on, wax off. Don't think it, just feel it. Wax on, wax off. Now, the key here is that when you breathe in, you open your shoulder so you can actually feel the chi coming down your spine all the way down to the lower back. And then when you push, it's as if you're pushing it from the lower back. Feel it without thinking it, without judging. Just feel it. Don't judge it. Now, the Chinese call that the tiger's back and the bear's belly, right? So when you push, you actually see the force. When you come in, you feel the force in your back. And then when you push, you feel the force in your lower back, like this, the upper back and the lower back. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, come back. Standing meditation, 1 minute. We're going to run over time slightly, okay? Okay, now left hand. Get ready. See that water wheel in front of you? Bring your hands around the water wheel to the top and then bring it back down as you breathe in. And then looking at the middle of the water wheel, just push as if you're pushing it from the lower back. Push, breathe out. Breathe in, open that shoulder. And then breathe out. Follow your hand. Breathe in. Just feel it. Don't judge it. Bring in. Push out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Follow the hand. Come back. Now go from the hand to the bottom of your feet. Come back to the standing. This is going to be the last 1 minute standing meditation. Okay, now the last exercise called up and down, it actually works on your adrenal gland. Now the proper translation is not bending your back. So when you come down, you open your knee, you don't actually bend your back like this, but the proper translation is called pressing the back. So imagine your back is like the washboard and you go like this, right? Not like this. Okay, now let's try it. Get ready. And also, you can hold your ear loops or you can just put it on your shoulder. Either way, whatever is comfortable to you. Okay? Okay, ready? Breathe in. Open your knee. Breathe out. Press your back forward. And then sit up straight. Stand up straight. And then lift up your elbow all the way back as you breathe out. Okay, second time. Breathe out. Breathe in. Okay, one last time. Breathe out. Breathe in. And relax. We're going to do 3 minutes of sitting meditation. Then repeat the end of class. You're dizzy because you have what is called adrenal fatigue, and that's why you have to do this exercise, which is kind of ironic because you're dizzy, so it's very dangerous to do the exercise. But yet, when you do this exercise, you don't get dizzy. The reason you get dizzy is because you're under stress so much for so long that your adrenal gland, which puts out the stress hormone, gave up. And so when you change your density, your center of gravity, which could be something extreme like this, or when you just get out of bed, or some people even when they rotate the body, they get dizzy because the body doesn't know how to regulate the blood pressure because it doesn't get stress hormone. And so this is very serious. This illness is very serious. Okay, so you need to learn to return to restore that harmony, abdominal breathing. Okay, abdominal breathing. When you breathe in, your heart rate goes up. When you breathe out, heart rate goes down. It's measured with there's something called the heart rate variability. Restore that harmony. Restore the harmony. The dizziness will go away. Okay. All right. 3 minutes. Okay, relax. Yeah. Yeah, my mom had that before, vertical. Yeah. So the best medicine is actually just motion sickness pill. You go to the doctor, they give you something else. It's not as good as the motion sickness. And it's just, it has to do with the ear. But, in the Chinese tradition, the ear is controlled by the kidney energy line. It's all water, right? So when you have kidney deficiency, not of the kidney, but the kidney energy deficiency, it affects it's very scary. It's very scary. My mom has it. My mother-in-law has it. It's just like all of a sudden nothing works. The world runs around like this, and but she doesn't have that anymore. Um, we just keep practicing, right? So I was thinking, these days San Francisco has these autonomous taxi, right? And it's one of the test sites. So we have so many. Sometimes when I drive my wife to work, I'm surrounded by them. It's amazing, no driver. And when I think back in 1974, when I graduated from, well, yeah, 73, 74, I graduated from high school. I started junior college. And I still remember taking my first computer class where you have to write out your program we program in Fortran. So you write out on a piece of paper, You actually debug on a piece of paper. You get it all right, and then you book time on the room where they do the punch card, and you just punch them one card at a time. You take that stack of cards like this, and you feed it into the machine. You're not supposed to touch the machine, so you give it to the guy. He feeds it in. He gives you this fatful paper, give you the result. That was the technology back then. And from that, just imagine, I followed the technology all the way to here. I can't even keep up. But my point is that every profession has to do that. We all have to keep up. Every day it changes. But then you ask, how does the doctor keep up? The doctor that you see in the Western medical doctor, he went to school. He went to school. He learned a lot. But how does he keep up? Because things change. Well, he keeps up by going to conferences sponsored by the drug company. So his whole thing about keeping up is to keep up with the drug, not keeping up with the disease. If the drug doesn't exist, this disease doesn't exist. It doesn't matter what you say to him. If there's no drug, there's no cure. There's no cure, then there's no problem. That's your problem, right? So our medical industry now is all about matching the drug with the symptom. That's not the way it was done. This is what we call alternative medicine. The traditional medicine is about maintaining the harmony, right? So when you have simple things like this is spell, it tells you that's a symptom. It tells you that you have lost the harmony. The harmony is simple. It's just day and light. When you're outside the sun, you're supposed to be in fight or flight. And when you're outside under the sun, and when you're away from the sun, then you're supposed to be in rest and digest. If you can maintain that harmony, then your body is healthy because God created us to self heal, right? Why is it so important that I teach that? Because harmony is important. We have lost harmony in a society, in the politics, in the way we utilize the earth. If you believe that your key, your road to health is harmony, then maybe you would believe that the way to a better country, a better nation, a better people is with harmony. Then maybe you would believe that the way to reverse global warming is in harmony. I'm teaching harmony here because it's 1,000-year-old Asian culture. A better world, a better people, a better mind, a better destiny. Let us all be blessed with health, with happiness, and in peace. Namaste. I'll see you in the end of April, okay? Taking 3 weeks off, basically 3 Saturdays. I'm only going to be away for like 14 days, but it just happens that we'll get 3 weeks off, okay? All right, thanks everyone. Keep it up. Okay, 星期一見. Okay, bye bye.
感恩，多謝聽老師。
多謝大家支持，多謝陳老師。OK，拜拜。